ordinance. Now, also in the city of St. Louis, you've got school issues. And I know that's not your purview. That's an entirely different political subdivision, but it's in your area. The state legislature has said that the school district was not performing to a certain standard and decided to put its own board in as opposed to the elected board.
Yes.
There has been considerable back and forth. I know that Senator Robin Wright Jones is not very happy with the administrative board, wants to go back to the elected board. But you have already taxes fairly high to pay for this school district. I think
Yes.
it's something like $10,000 per student.
Yeah, I know it was above that 7,000 per student number.
So wherever it is,
number
somewhere
was,
between
yeah.
7 and 10,
Yeah.
which is high.
Yes, yes.
And there's not a whole lot more money left, that you can take out of property tax and give to them. I'm going to make a suggestion here based on what we were talking about both before the show and just a moment ago. You were saying that in this 30-year plan that they're going to build some new businesses.
Yes.
Perhaps what the school districts really need to do is to begin training young people to run their own businesses and to get them started on these businesses and show them how that's done and have them be the ones that are going to fill these spots in the city of St. Louis. Therefore, they'd be more interested in being in school.
Yes, I mean, you're right, and we've done some of that. Let me roll back a little bit. When the state came in and took over this system, the St. Louis City Public Schools, because it lost its accreditation, what that meant was that the school system itself and the special administrative board fell to the governor, the mayor, and myself. So the governor has an appointee. So right now the whole system is being run by 3 people.
Right.
The governor's appointee, the mayor's appointee, and my appointee.
Right. They are Richard Gaines.
And then
right. Of course, I would start down this road.
yeah.
Okay,
And
let's go on. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to blindside you.
No,
Go ahead.
I'll come back to it because I have it on the tip of my tongue. But what they've done thus far is went in and reformatted, how and made the system, put the focus back on the kids and back on curriculum. Because what happened, if you remember back when the takeover came about, what happened was if you went to the school board meetings and those things, the conversations had drifted away from curriculum and the kids, and the conversation had become more about personalities and janitors and that kind of stuff.
Buildings.
Yeah, so when the state took over, at first I wasn't really supportive of it, but when you take a look at the full spectrum and the amount of lives and amount of kids that are being lost by the system every day. If the system isn't working and the money is being spent, that's a tragedy. So we need to make that happen. One of the reasons why St. Louis City, the per student cost exceeds like the county is because the special school district and special needs kids are all factored into that same district. In the county, those numbers are separated out, so it does increase the cost, but it doesn't mean that the school system is operating the most efficient way possible. It really needs to be, a complete gut rehab. It was very top heavy in terms of management, and be able to shift that money and put that money back into the classrooms. And that's part of what we're seeing happen with the Special Administrative Board. A lot of work to be done, but I think they're moving in the right direction.
Okay. Somewhere back in the 19th century, the state took over the function of the police department of the city of St. Louis.
Yes.
Describe what was and what you want it to be.
Well, back in, it's probably been about 140 years ago or something like that, in the Civil War. During the Civil War, the state was the state was pro-slavery, and St. Louis itself was anti-slavery. The state the state decided to come in and take over the local militia or the police department at the time, and create a special administrative police board, and have that report back to the state. Now, what that allowed them to do was to control the armory, which was based in St. Louis. Now, at the time, you have to realize that the armory in St. Louis provided arms to, most of the Midwest at that time. And it did, I can't remember, but it was like, 140,000 muskets in all of, the South at the time. And in St. Louis, there were, over 60 to 70,000 muskets just in the St. Louis Armory at the time. So we had almost as many muskets in the armory as there was supplying the entire South at the time. There was
where somebody might want to get it.
Somebody want to get it. There's over 90,000 pounds of powder, in the St. Louis Armory. So it was really important, because that could really, shift the dynamics of the war at the time.
Right.
So the compromise was made that the state would take control over the local militia, which in turn allowed them to control the armory. So that happened during the Civil War. It wasn't unlike other major cities across America, New York, other major cities. The states controlled their local militia for various different reasons because of corruption and other things. But 140 years later, everybody else has turned around, and St. Louis and Kansas City are two of the remaining major cities where the state still controls their police department, and it's pure politics. So we're really working to get local control of our police department. There's a lot of challenges within the department. It really, really makes it a challenge for us, as legislators to budget effectively when you have no control over, or no say-so over, the spending that happens on the other side. Here's an example. Last year, we had a ballot initiative that went to the voters, and we told the voters that this ballot initiative would put 45 new officers on the streets. And that's what we passed as legislators. The voters went and voted for the ballot initiative. Right. The money came in from the voters' tax. It went to the police department. The police department decided not to use that money to put more police officers on the streets. They said, well, we need raises, so we're going to give ourselves raises, and we'll hire the new police officers the following year. Well, the challenge is the next year we're stuck with the raises for that should have went to create the 45 new positions, plus 45 new positions.
Plus the voters are probably upset that they instructed the government to do one thing and the government did something else.
Yes, but we're powerless to carry it out. We have no authority into the department to say, no, this money is allocated to this budget line item. This is what it will be used for. We have no authority on that. And I can fill this room with the list of things just like that.
And the legislature, how do they stand on this issue? Yay or nay?
The state, in terms of the legislature, our state senators and our state reps, they're all supportive of it. They understand it. This thing makes up, public safety systems make up 1/3 of our entire city's budget. So 1/3 of our budget is on public safety systems. And you can understand if that budget line item is out of control in a very tight budget year, you have major problems going on. Right. It just increases them tenfold. So we have, our state reps and state senators. State Senator Joe Keaveney, he's really pushing to have it done. He filed a bill in the Senate. And then on the House side, we have Tashar Jones and all those guys. They've been working to get a bill in also. So we're looking really good. Jamila Nasheed will be carrying the one on the House side, and so everything's really looking promising.
Well, I hear a lot of Democrats being mentioned here, but of course the legislature is run by the Republicans. Are they favorable or not favorable to this change?
I think they're some of the early indications is that they're softening up to the ideal, and they're becoming more favorable to it. But this isn't a very complex idea to get through. This is not that complex.
Right.
If you remove some of the politics from it,
right? I was going to say it's just politics.
Yeah, you remove the politics from it, you'd have to ask the question: if you have a state rep or state senator that's representing Wildwood, that's representing Jefferson County, that's representing Cape Girardeau, that's representing any of these communities and cities all across the state, the question to all of them is, are you willing to give the control of your police department and 1/3 of your city's budget to
The legislature.
to the
Yeah.
legislature who are not connected to it? The people in the city of St. Louis, the people that are most impacted by it, the people that are paying the taxes, the people that have their families and their livelihoods completely invested in those communities, absolutely should have control over their public safety systems. I mean, that no question about it.